Hello, my brothers and sisters. Hello, Arsenal Futurites. Yes, we have another edition of the Arsenal Future show. I don't want to say podcast. Don't forget, if you're new around here, please subscribe to the channel. You know what to do. Click the subscribe notice down the bottom behind the underneath or below the video. You know how to do it. Just click on that. Obviously, you use your mouse if you're on the PC or the laptop, or you could just use your if you're on the one of those touch screens, just click on it and it lights up. It's as easy as pie. Please like the video and share them if you can on all the potential platforms that you're on, X, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, etc., 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 TikTok, even Instagram. I say Instagram, WhatsApp, and also you can leave your comments down below if you agree with me. You could put your potential lineup for Arsenal, your potential lineup for Manchester City as well. What I might do tomorrow before the match, I'm going to give you my lineup here, and then before the match, it might be a different lineup. So if it's a different lineup to the one I've got here, because it usually is, I'll just give you the up-to-date lineups, yeah, for both teams, not just Arsenal, but for Manchester City as well. I was going to do the big match preview like we did last season. We brought it into, because we've now been going 2 seasons. And the first season was when I broadcasted, which was the 23-24 season, I never did a big match preview. But last season, which was 24-25, I brought something new to the table, something new to the channel, where I gave you, when we played against, etc., Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester City, and even Spurs, I gave you something that was called the big match preview. If we're playing away or home against those other clubs, Big Six, yeah, I gave you something called the big match preview. And we was away for 8 months because we had some serious injuries to members of our staff, and they're helping me with that, with the thumbnails and all that. Hence why there's no thumbnails there. So I do apologize for that. I was going to bring it back for this show, but I just couldn't find. It just isn't. It's a bit too soon for that. Hopefully, when we play our next big match against, I don't know, I think the next big match it won't be Newcastle, so it'll have to be when we play against maybe Chelsea or Spurs, because we've already played against Liverpool, Man United, and now we're going to play against Manchester City. So when we play against the next big six club, then we'll hopefully by then we'll bring it forward. We'll let you know. Just keep it this way. Yes, but I personally think it's going to be 2-2 draw tomorrow. On to the match, and I've been thinking about this for the whole week, and usually I go for an Arsenal win. You know me. I normally go, and even though I don't think Mikel Arteta is the right man for the job, still don't. Wanted him out 2 years ago. He's a good manager, but he's not good enough to get us over the line. But he may prove me wrong, and I hope he does by winning the league title this season or the Champions League. I don't count the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup as a, even though they're big. The FA Cup's a traditional trophy, and the Carabao Cup is a big trophy in its own right. But I'm talking about the big boys, the Premier League and the Champions League. And I don't think he's going to quite get us over the line. But putting that aside, I think it's going to be 2-2 draw. It looks as though Manchester City have turned a corner, and they were poor for much of last season. Hence why they finished third. And this season, I actually backed them in the summer when I saw the signings of Reiners and Eight Murray and one or two of the other signings, Cherokee and those guys. I thought to go with what they got already, and I know that Kevin De Bruyne was about to leave to go to Napoli. I thought that they could actually do it. Normally Pep doesn't go more than a season without winning a league. If he loses it this season, he'll come and get it back next season. So it's kind of like a uncharted territory for Pep right now, where he could go 2 seasons without winning a league. Maybe even 2 seasons without even finishing second. Because he finished third last season behind Liverpool and Arsenal, and this season he's favourite again to finish behind Liverpool and Arsenal again. And so, but I went for them to win the league. So it looks as though also Erling Haaland he's come back to form again. He looked very good in the midweek in the Champions League game against Napoli, where he scored, and he looked also very good last weekend. I can't remember the game they played. They played last weekend, and he scored in that as well. Manchester United, that's it. He scored 2 goals in the Manchester derby last Sunday against Manchester United. And even on the and he looks as though he did. I've got a friend who said he looks as though he looks how it looks how he played when he was at Borussia Dortmund. You know, where hustle bustle and picking the ball up from like 40 yards out, running, charging at defenders, and so on. For about since he's been at City, he's actually more or less just stood up there because they've got so much creativity going forward. Manchester City, like Bernardo Silva, KDB when he was there, Gundogan's also left as well, and so many other players have got there, you know, who could set him up, Foden, you know, and so on, even Rodri. And then now he looks as though, I don't know, Pep has told him to get more involved in the game, you know, to charge up defenses and defenders. But we've got the best defense, some say even in Europe, but we've certainly got the best defense in the Premier League, and we've got some of the individual best players as well in their division, in their respective positions. For example, people are talking up Timber as the best right back in the country, possibly in Europe. We all know about Saliba and Gabriel in the centre, probably the best centre back partnership in the Premier League and one of the best in the world. You know, the left side is a bit touch and go balls. Calafiori likes to bomb up, you know, and he's not so good coming back, but he's very good going forward, you know. And so, and even when we were playing young uh, Lewis Skelly there last season, this season it looks as though Arteta doesn't fancy him there. I'm even hearing that plans have been made to play him in midfield because that's where he played in the youth teams, in the Arsenal youth teams. He played in midfield. He played as an eight, so he was kind of like going. That's why he's so good at going forward and charging, you know. But I'm not sure. But and he was also inverting as well when he played at left back because you know Arteta likes to play with those left backs who invert. That's why he bought Zinchenko, you know, because Zinchenko was doing that a lot of Man City inverting, you know, and so. And Calafiori is very good at that because he's actually good going forward. He's better at going forward and defending. And even though he plays, I think left central defence for Italy, he's actually good at going forward. He's not bad at say he's poor at defending. He's not poor because you don't become you're not if you're poor at defending, you're not playing for Italy for the Italy national team. You don't play for Arsenal and so on. But defending is not his strong. Is not his strongest point. You know, his strongest point is getting the ball, picking the ball up and running, going forward. And he's decent defensively, not the all-time greatest, but he's good at picking the ball up, and he's scored a couple of goals for us already. You know, he scored one up for us already this season up at Old Trafford against Manchester United. That was our first game, so he's got an eye for goal. You know, and then maybe because he's 23, he's still at a good age where he can be coached to defend. You know, but I'm gonna go with the usual. You're gonna see my lineup here now. I'm gonna pull it up here now, and I'm gonna go for 2-2 because I just got a feeling that Man City are playing well at the moment, and I don't know what it is about Arsenal sometimes. When we need to bury a team, because if we beat City, that's them out of the title race because they would have lost 3 games already. They've already lost to Spurs. They've also lost to Brighton. And now if we beat them, that'd be 3 defeats. And I think if you're going to win the league title, you can't afford more than, I'll say, no more than 4 defeats. Liverpool haven't lost a game at all so far this season. You know, they won again today in the early kickoff against Everton in the Merseyside derby, and you know, and so we need let's put pressure on us to win again tomorrow. So we have to take this opportunity, even if it's only a scrappy 1-0. We have to win, but I just have a feeling we're going to chuck it away like we usually do and get a 2-2 draw. I just have a feeling City will score. We haven't conceded a goal yet so far this season in only yeah in open play because Liverpool scored, but that was a free kick. That was from a dead ball. So, but we haven't conceded a goal at all this season from open play. It's only one goal we've conceded, and that's from a free kick from that cracker from Szoboszlai a few weeks ago up at Anfield. So I'm hoping to keep it going tomorrow. But Man City are a different animal, and even though they're not at their best, they're still more than capable of opening your defence up, and getting in behind and scoring. And I've got a feeling tomorrow they'll score, but we will score as well. It'll be a good game. Yeah, I'm not saying it'll be the most entertaining game of all time, but I think both teams will play well, and I think both teams will score. And I just have a feeling it'll be a 2-2 draw. You know, I don't know who scored goals, but I suspect Erling Haaland will score for Man City because he's got quite a good record against Arsenal. I'm hoping that we play without the handbrake on because usually Arteta likes to, when if we score the first goal, then he likes us to sit back and don't concede and then just play within ourselves. Don't charge too much forward. I think with Man City, you've got to take them while they're there. You've got to charge at them. You've got to press from the front. So our attackers, like the likes of Eze, he's probably not used to doing this when he was at Palace, but we've got to defend from the front. Noni Madueke's got to do it. Gokos has got to do it. So we've got to defend from and charge at Man City. When there's an opening, we're going to take it. We've got more. I think we've got more pace than they have. And even though this is the quickest Arsenal team I've seen some very quick Arsenal teams. This is one of the quickest Arsenal teams I've seen. But we need to go and get this. We really need to go and get this. And I'm hoping for a 2-0 win. But as I said, somehow I just see it being a 2-2. And we're going to be paid back. Liverpool. That means that if we'll be 5 points behind Liverpool. At the moment, as it stands, we're 6 points. We're 9 points. They're now on 15. If we win, we'll only be 3 points behind them. Again, same number of games. So it's looking more and more. If it goes according to plan, it's looking as though we're going to have to beat Liverpool when we play them at the Emirates. And I don't know when we play them at the Emirates. It probably is around sometime, probably before Christmas, And it's really strange because normally we play Liverpool at the Emirates first, and then we go to Anfield later on in the season. This season it's gone the other way around, But I'm hopefully, as I said, hopefully normally we play Liverpool nearer to the end of the season, But we played them so early this season, so early, under about the third game. So hopefully when we play them at Anfield, when we play them at the Emirates, we can get 3 points, get our revenge against them. Someone needs to stop them. We need someone to inflict a couple of defeats on them, and then hopefully by the time we play them, we haven't lost any more games, and they would have lost a couple, and then we beat them at our place. Then maybe by then we'll be ahead of them. So we need some miracles, and I'm hoping that I'm hoping for divine intervention. As I said, don't forget to smash a like on this video, share the video, please. Leave your comments down below. The channel's picking up again. We're getting a lot of views from around the world. Thank you so much for those of you out there who are viewing our videos. And as I said, I apologize about the thumbnail, but I don't know if some of you have heard or listened to, my stream since I came back, since the start of the season when I started with, posting again about serious injuries to members of our team, a couple of members of our team seriously hurt, and one's not well, and one's recovering. The other one is not well, but he's recovering as well. But so I've been without a full strength of backroom staff for nearly a year, and these are the guys that do the thumbnails, they do the graphics, they work tirelessly around me, and so on. But we're trying our best to get some thumbnails done because we know it helps with the channel and makes the channel more attractive for the viewer. So bear with us, please, and obviously smash a like, subscribe if you've not done so already, and so on. And down the line, we're looking to do some collabs with others, and there's some big things coming to this channel. I know talk is cheap, but you see it soon, and hopefully we can bring some well-esteemed guests and well-known guests within the Arsenal, not just Arsenal, but football fandom in general, supporters of other clubs who you might be familiar with. We're going to speak about football, because I set this channel up to talk about Arsenal mainly, but also football, quality content, So yeah, I'm going 2-2. Let me know what your scoreline is. Let me know what your teams are. You don't have to do Man City's team. You can if you want, but let me know what you think Arsenal will line up as. And obviously we've got our lineup here as usual. And I don't know who will score our goals. After putting who what the lineup is. But I've got a funny feeling Gokos might score a goal tomorrow. But I think Ireland will score for City as well. Those are the two. Not sure who else at the moment, And as I said, it took me a week to think about this scoreline. But I was going to think that we're not gonna quite win this game tomorrow. I don't know why. I don't think we're. I have doubts. We're not playing really well. If we're flying, I would say, I think we'll win. But we'll play with too much of the handbrake on. If you do that against City, they'll catch you out. Even though they're not at their best at the moment, they've gone down a bit from last season, but they're still capable of scoring goals and finding gaps in your defence and exploiting it. So 2-2 tomorrow. I think our clean sheet record will go when the open our goals not conceded in open play will go. And as I was going to say before, I don't know if I said it. I'll say it again anyway. Hopefully, we don't pick up any silly bookings or any silly red cards. Focus, discipline, play well, not play within ourselves, but express ourselves, go forward and try and get Man City. They've won so many titles since we've won our last one. So it's our time now to sort of show the world that we mean business is about winning a Premier League title, you know. And I just hope that Mikel Arteta manages the game properly. Don't leave it too late to bring on subs. Bring on subs when the time is right. I would like to see Ranieri get a little run around or run out. And also, I know he's very, very young, he's only 15, but also our youngster, you know, Max Dowman. Be very good if we can get, even if it's only a 15-minute towards the end, just something, you know. But hopefully by then we'll be winning. So he might be more inclined to bring on those guys, those youngsters, when we're winning the game, rather than when we need it. But you can still bring them on when we're on the chase, if we're chasing the game, because they're fresh legs. They've got fresh legs. They're young. They're vibrant. They're zesty. But knowing him, you keep it cautious and you bring on the more tried and tested. You know, he'll probably end up bringing on. I mean, that Odegaard might be back tomorrow. And he might be on the bench, but wouldn't be surprised if he starts with him. And also Mika Mourinho. And I don't hate Mika Mourinho and I don't hate Odegaard, but I think the team is slowly moving on without them. Because you know, and when you look at what Ranieri does and what Dalman does, and you compare it to what Mourinho does and what Odegaard does, it's chalk and cheese. You know, the youngsters have got no fear. We need to look towards the youngsters. You know, also very impressed with Noni Madueke as well. He was much maligned when we're going to back to sign him from Chelsea, but now it's proven us a little bit wrong. But it's early days. We need to see some more games. I'll give him another dozen games and see how he does, and then I'll be able to make a better, judgment of him and a better analysis about how he's playing, how he's fitted into Arsenal, and there's so many more. There's so much more things I want to say, but I probably might leave it until after the game because I think I might do a quick reaction after the game, and then of course we're going to do our review of the match sometime next week as we always do. Stay tuned for that. As I keep saying, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, please. Leave your comments, share the videos if you can, and if you go into the match tomorrow, look after yourselves, be safe, enjoy. Hopefully, you will enjoy an Arsenal win tomorrow, and I just keep hoping that Mikel doesn't mess up the lineup and plays out of position. Like, you know, he always does that, and I'm hoping that he doesn't play that stinky midfield like a upper Anfield with Odegaard. Who was it? It was Mourinho. No, it was Odegaard actually. It was Mourinho, Zubimendi, Declan Rice. That doesn't work. You know, he did it in midweek as well against Bilbao. You know, we don't need that. That midfield doesn't create anything. There's too much of a muchness. We need something a bit more, you know, zesty. You know, something a bit more. There was a word I was going to use, but actually is gone out of my mind now. But we need something a bit more cohesive. You know, something a bit more fluid. You know, so if you could play Declan Rice because he's one of our best players. You can play Martin Zubimendi with his quality, and you can play Eze there. So Eze, you know, Zubimendi, Declan Rice. That's a fluid midfield. That's full of creativity and running. Then you can still play Noni Madueke on the right, Victor Gokris through the middle, and on the left hand side you can still play Gabriel Martinelli, you know. Or you could play even on the left side. You can even play Ranieri on the left side. But he's not a manager who likes to take those sort of risks. You know, he likes to try and test it, and he's got his favourites. And we're going to be doing a program about that very soon on Arsenal Future about Mikel Arteta's favourites and are they justified? You know, when I find the time, I'll definitely do that within the next. But I think probably I'll do it around the next international break because there's going to be another international break coming in a few weeks' time, I think. So we're going to be doing some not so familiar, programs that we don't normally do in Arsenal Future. So I'm going to give you something different to think about his, who are his favourites, and then are they justified? What have they done for Arsenal since he bought them, and so on. So look out for that one. We promise you. There's so much content with a club at Arsenal. There's always content because of the news. We're going to talk about Tim Lewis as well down the line. who left the post yesterday. Don't know much about him, but we're going to do some research and give you a little snippet about him as well, and so on. And then there's a lot of things happening at the club that we want to talk about from here, but it has to be the right time. Anyway, folks, you look after yourselves. Take care. And as I said, don't forget to keep subscribing to our channel and like the videos. And as I said, don't worry about the thumbnails that are coming. I beg you. Bless, yeah? You take care. Look after yourselves and each other. And see you in the next few hours with a quick reaction. And then the next week, of course, with the full review. The games are coming so thick and fast. So you look after yourselves. Adios.